Davidson this morning, and there aren't any Part A's on this agenda. Pauline, you'd like to move this? Your counterpart isn't here, so David East would like to second it. Is there anything you'd like to draw to our attention, Pauline?
Well, just touching on page 69, we've had a deputation from the St Albans Residents Association on the Cranford Street 4-laning, and they've brought concerns about the planning. What the community is saying is that it's being presented in pieces. So we're looking at now the link goes across the wetland. This is just the council project, not the NZTA one north of QE2. So the link comes across the wetland and it comes down Cranford Street as far as Innes Road. From there on, the community's been presented with no planning, and the assumption is that the modelling is showing that some of the traffic will peel off before it hits Beeley Ave. But there could be a lot of congestion and a lot of backlog traffic there. They have concerns, so we're trying to work with staff to get some sort of idea of a holistic approach to that traffic planning south of Innes Road, where it's going to go from 4 lanes to 2. So there's a lot of concern in the community about that, so we're trying to work with them to try and get some better modelling.
Are you organising a sort of a community forum on that with staff to, with maps and because I've seen a presentation which shows that in similar areas, that peeling effect does occur, so it would be good to sort of have one of those public forums.
They've had them as far south as Innes Road, but
yeah.
There's been no maps and no plan presented south of Innes where the concern is.
Yeah.
So the information isn't there yet to present to the residents who are concerned.
It was kind of the comparable areas, like going down Martian Road.
Yeah.
People peel off. They peel off at Hills Road. They peel off at, the peeling effect does happen.
Well, that's what we're calling for, that information to be given to the community. But that's also a concern because in an area like Cranford Street, you've got Innes Road that might take some peeling, but probably only to the west, and it's already congested.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the peeling could invoke rat running. So it's got some weak points that the community is really concerned about. So. Well,
I'm all for information that's really accessible to people, so that they can actually challenge it and question it and poke around in it, because there's a lot of expertise and knowledge that sits behind a lot of the decisions that are made. Yeah. I mean, I'm not entirely happy with having to prioritise the non-earthquake related efforts really at this stage, but
So we have called for that information, and it was an unfortunate use of phrase calling for the project works south of Innes, and the community has kind of interpreted it as that we want to create a project, and we don't. We're actually calling for the staff to present us a holistic plan and, like you say, present the maps and everything to the community.
Well, it does seem odd that it ends up in a place where it isn't a natural entrance to the city. That was my view. Yeah. It ends at Beeley Avenue. Yeah.
So at the moment, the current project is only to Innes Road. South of that, we have work to do. So that's the upshot.
All right. So, is there something that you want added to the resolution that would enable some further advice to be prepared?
I think the community board has already requested that. I think we can.
You can handle that.
But if perhaps we could support the community board recommendation that information on any plans south of Innes Road be presented to the community as soon as possible. Okay.
So that the report be received, noting. So that the report be received, noting that the community board has requested staff to provide a holistic projected mapping of traffic movements past Innes Road.
South of Innes Road.
South of Innes Road. South of Innes Road. plan for traffic movements south of Innes Road as part of the Northern Arterial and Cranford Street project.
Extension project, yeah.
Extension project.
Yes, and we want to put in there as soon as possible.
As soon as possible. How's that?
Yes, that would be good.
Good.
Thank you.
Yanni?
I was just concerned that the comments were also about the time allowed for submissions, and I just wanted to know if the board was doing anything to address those concerns.
Not at this stage. We haven't. I mean, they expressed the concern about the timeline after the submissions closed, so there was not very much that we could do about that.
How long were the submissions open for?
I think it's 6 weeks standard.
Right, but was it over the kind of Christmas, New Year's period?
So yeah, quite a lot of them are run over that period.
Yeah, okay. And the other thing I just wanted, we should probably put a date. I'm just mindful, we've got a lot of requests for reports come back as soon as possible, but having a date is probably quite useful. I don't know the timing around this project.
The community board's in charge of this process. We're just reinforcing that
Except they're not, because they're reliant on staff to report back. And one of the things that we've heard also is that community boards are, sometimes waiting quite a while to get these things back. So
Yeah.
I do think...
Yanni, we haven't had a request from this community board for that. They said they're in charge of the process. We simply wanted to reinforce that they are going down this track.
Normally I would like a date too, but we would need staff here to guide us on that, because I don't know how much work they've done at all on the south, so we can't really put a date on it, but we will keep an eye on that through the community board.
The community board will come back to us if they need. I mean, you're getting the message from us that we're very supportive as a council to support the community board and what it's doing. Paul?
Just in relation to that holistic view, often we do get plans that come through for a section without the whole view, and I think it's really important that we actually do get for our communities a wider view, because they are quite interested in see how the impact flows on down the path. So I support you on that motion. That's good.
That's great. All right, I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried. And then we've got